When's the last time you had your car's oil changed? If this is a tough question to answer, then your vehicle's probably well overdue. Your engine has hundreds of moving parts. Some are big, some are small, some even touch. The oil is what keeps these parts moving and lubricated. That's why it's essential to keep your oil properly maintained.
Hey Christina, did you know there's two types of oil?
No, I didn't.
Well, there's conventional and synthetic oil. Conventional oil is crude oil that's harvested from the earth. Synthetic oil is conventional oil that has been improved to protect its lubricant qualities. You may have heard that you need your oil changed every 3,000 miles, but that's not true. With synthetic oil, it lasts twice as long as conventional oil, but it is important that you stick with your dealer's recommended brand of oil.
So there are two different numbers to look for when you're trying to change your oil. The first one here is 5W. So what that means is that's going to be the thickness of your oil. The W, think of it as winter. So in winter it's cold. So that's going to be the thickness when it's cold and your car isn't running. The 30 is going to mean that it's thinner when it's hot, because when hot things get hot, it slows down and it makes it thinner. For example, 5W30, that W means that when the oil is cold, it will be thicker, and the 30 is referring to the thickness when hot, such as when the engine is running. So if we go over here, I can show you guys how to change your oil at home, because not only is that going to save you a bunch of money, but it's also going to teach you how to use some basic car maintenance skills. So this is the oil that we're going to use today, so we're just going to put it right back in line with the other ones. What we have here is called a jack. So what that's going to do is that's going to jack up the car so you can safely and securely get under your car. While you're jacking up, you want to make sure these guys here, they're called car jacks. That's what's going to keep the car up after you pull the jack out. So you're also going to want to use either a ratchet or a wrench. Today we're using a 17mm wrench. So just make sure you have one of those handy. It'll make it easier. Also, something that's going to be really important is a pan. So what that's going to be used for, that's going to help you drain the oil so you don't make a giant mess and your mom doesn't yell at you. Then what you're going to use the funnel for is to make sure that you're properly pouring the oil in so you're not getting the oil on your engine or anything like that.
Before you get under the hood, it's important to make sure that your car is warm and not cold so that the oil will flow out a lot easier. This car's been running for the last 10 minutes, so I think it's good to go. First, you're going to want to get in and pop the hood. Make sure that your e-brake is pulled up so that it's nice and tight so that when you jack the car up, the car doesn't roll. Next, we're going to get the jack. It's important to know where to jack the vehicle. This can be found online, or if you have the owner's manual, that's going to be the best place to look. For this particular vehicle, it wants us to jack about 5 inches behind the wheel. Next, we're going to place the jack stands where the manufacturer recommends. Then we're going to lower the vehicle down onto the jack slowly to make sure that it's going to hold. Before we get under the vehicle, it's a good idea to undo the oil cap so that the oil will drain nice and smooth. Okay, now we're going to place the catch can under the oil pan so when the oil comes out, it doesn't go everywhere. Once you've drained the oil, you can put the drain bolt back in and tighten it up. Now it's time to add the oil to the engine. For this particular engine, the owner's manual calls for 4.2 liters. You can measure it out individually, or most bottles nowadays have measurements on the side, so I'll just be using those. filled the engine with oil, check the dipstick to make sure that it's completely full. On mine, you're supposed to be just above the perforated dots. Once you get all the oil drained back into your empty containers, it's time to throw them away.
Hey man, you know that's illegal, right? You can't just dump that in the trash.
All right, man, we'll go dump it in the creek.
Dump it in the creek? Come on, man. Do you know that 1 gallon of this oil will pollute 250,000 gallons of water? Now, you may think, well, it's more efficient for me to dump it in the creek. No, that's wrong. Most auto shops and gas stations, Evan, will recycle that oil for you. All you have to do is find some empty containers around the house, something to fill those with oil. Then, like personally for me, I take mine to AutoZone, and what they do is they actually help the environment and it's recycle them for you.
Many people believe that car maintenance is a scary and expensive process, but with time and the right resources, you can even become a car maintenance pro. Changing your oil might not be as easy as making a pizza, but it's important for the longevity of your vehicle and keeping your engine running properly.